Facebook is defending its practices yet again after lawmakers in the UK released a slew of documents from the company. The documents include emails between top Facebook employees that reveal details about how the company leveraged user data. The files also highlight Facebook's potential use of so-called whitelisting agreements, which give some companies preferential access to users' personal information. CNET senior producer Dan Patterson joins us now to discuss. Hi, Dan. So if you would start by breaking down for us exactly what a whitelisting agreement is, how exactly did Facebook use them in regard to user data?
Good to see you, Tanya. So a whitelist sounds a lot like your description there. This is preferential access to user data. Now, to be clear, this isn't access to the data itself, but the data on the Facebook platform. Some applications, like the application that was responsible for suing Facebook, were cut off of user data around 2014-15, while others, some larger applications like Netflix, had preferential or what appears to be preferential treatment and continued to get access to friend data.
So all of this information stems from a case involving software firm 643. Dan, what more can you tell us about why that app developer is suing Facebook?
Well, 643 is suing Facebook because they say that some of the terms of access to friend data were simply not equal or not applied equally. And when we look at the communications from Mr. Zuckerberg and others on the Facebook team, it would appear as though that allegation is pretty accurate. Now, we don't know everything here, but the company alleges that they were cut off and that in a post that Mr. Zuckerberg posted very recently, he referred to many of these apps as, air quotes, sketchy. Now, that description about how sketchy apps access the platform versus what we can assume to be not sketchy apps like Netflix is kind of at the crux of the argument. They're saying, hey, look, we need access to the data just as much as anyone else, regardless as to what our app does.
So they seem to have like an A list and a B list, or maybe an A list and a B list and a C list of, apps in terms of who they're providing more information to, which, by the way, is all of our information. These apps are arguing over who has the best access to our information. Is that correct?
Who owns the information and what information becomes on the platform is maybe up for debate. Is it Facebook's information because they manage it? We don't know. But yes, access to user information is what this is all about. Now, again, it's very important to parse the difference between selling access to information versus selling the information itself. Facebook, from one perspective, was a growing company that had just gone public, and their platform data was the core of their value. So access to that information is incredibly valuable, or the way they saw it was incredibly valuable, and it was up to them to decide who had access to that versus who paid for access to that.
Right. All right. So, Dan, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says these documents that we're talking about now were provided without context, and he posted a lengthy response on his own personal Facebook page. What did he have to say, and how did he defend the changes on the platform?
Well, his post was lengthy, but in a nutshell, it said that, hey, look, we're a growing company, and you may see some communication between us, but this is no different than the communication that happens at any large technology firm or any large company. The access to data was once again part of our value and part of the reason we went public. And when you look at only a handful of emails between executives, you really don't get a full picture of what happens at this company.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably hard to get a full picture of what happens at Facebook. A lot more documents are needed for that. All right, Dan Patterson, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Tanya.